Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Fairy Tale Chapter Review. Now, I know this is a little earlier than what we usually post it out, but since this week we're going to have to record separately due to life, we're doing it a little earlier. I mean, we should have done it earlier in the week, but when the chapter actually came out, but oh well. So, this chapter was fairly simple. I mean, we start off with some very nostalgic feeling. We get, Lucy. Start off with fan service with Lucy doing her bathing in her house, and then she goes to, into her living room, and once again, Natsu and Happy are there. And the funny thing is, she tries to kick him with her Lucy kick, but instead of getting hit by it this time, Natsu actually blocks, claiming that, oh, you've been slacking off on your training. And then, he said, before going off on to do work, of course, Lucy's like all excited. Oh yeah, we've got a job, awesome! And she forgets to hold her towel and falls off. And once again, Natsu gets another peek at Lucy's naked body, and she freaks out. But I'm pretty sure we resolved that a while ago. We were like, oh well, we've seen her naked body enough times. So then we go over to where the guild once was, and we see everyone working together to rebuild the guild. There's a little funny moment where they're like, well, we'll make sure that, we'll find guild for the master when he returns. And they're like, oh, we won't. What if he doesn't want to return? He says, well, if he doesn't, we'll go after him. And even Redis is like, oh, well, maybe we'll try with one imposters, holding up a poster of him with only 500 jewel. Then the next scene, which is hilarious, we start off with, Gray and Juvie working together to help rebuild the guild, and everyone starts spreading rumors about their relationship. Now, depending on which version you read, Gray's response as to what actually happened, or what he refers to as actually, can vary. In the Manga Panda translation, it was like, he says, oh, well, she moved in with me and refused to leave, which kind of feels very, very negative. But then Gray, in the manga stream version, I like better because it says, oh, well, it's not, we wouldn't call it living together, it was more like crashing in the same place together. And then you have Lizana rocking out some waitress skills by giving everyone refreshments. But what I would like to know is why the hell is Lizana trying to become like friggin' Lucy? Is she trying to steal Natsu away from Lucy by adapting her, look? Who the hell knows? We also found out that Elfman didn't stay with him, and he spent off training the entire year to get stronger. And then we see Levy filling out some paperwork for, making the guild's return official, and whatnot. Of course, she says that there's one last thing they have to figure out, and that is who's going to be the seventh guild master. They make some Mako says, "Oh, I'll do it. I can, do it." But then they're like, "No." And then someone suggests guild arts, and Kana just like, no. Why would you want some jackass who's always, wandering around to be the guild master? And they're like, well, we only need one temper until the sixth one returns. But then Kana's like, well, things will be different now. Nothing, it's nothing. It's not gonna be like anything like our guild of the past. And plus, without the six around, who's gonna keep everyone in line? Since they're such a rowdy bunch. Of course, it references especially to the fact at the current moment that Natsu and Elfman are fighting each other, a test of strength as to how strong they've gotten, and slowly, he knocks Elfman into Gray, and then Gray gets involved in the fight, and now everyone's starting to get involved in the fight, even Loki shows up. Everyone's just being rowdy and whatnot. And this is where once again, Miyajin addresses the fact that, yes, no one's blaming you for the destruction of the guild, but it's been eating away. And then that's why he's been spending all this time trying to get stronger, so that way it won't happen again. And then Urza just shows up and just gives her evil, look and says, "Get back to work," which, despite all the power-ups that everyone should have gotten over the past year, somehow are still afraid of Urza. When you're training yourself up, especially Natsu, in the case of Natsu, when you're training yourself up to defeat Acnologia and Zerov, who are miles more, are dwarf Urza's power, and by extension should be much more fearful, then why would you fear Urza? But whatever. And then they're like, of course, it should have been obvious. The seventh Guildmaster is Urza Scarlet. She's like, oh wait, no, I can't do it. And then a mysterious man shows up saying that there's no one else more suited. Everyone's like, oh, I think we recognize him. He's one of our members, but I can't remember his name. And he says that I've been biding my time for this moment, because you're the only ones that can help save the sixth Master Makarov. And it's revealed that the guy who appeared was Mest Grider, or Glider, whatever the hell, I don't know, it depends on what translation you're using. I believe it was Mest Grider was the name he was using, but whatever. So this week's chapter, like I said, was simple. It was, the important things were this. The guild was being built back together. Obviously everyone's gotten stronger, but the important things were the fact that they are just going to apparently make Urza Scarlet the new guild master. But just because of the fact that, the next important thing was that Mest shows up to tell them, okay, you're the only ones who can save Makarov. Meaning he knows where you are, which means in the very next chapter we're going to move, that a main group of people are going to, that the lesser known members are going to stay and help rebuild the guild, while the main cast of characters, I guess you could say, are going to go out and save Makarov, which is going to be the next arc. Now, there are some very important things that we need to note about this chapter. Because, yes, Urza is supposedly going to be selected as a new guild master. Now, there's some interesting points that you have to make. One translation, the manga stream translation, when at the beginning we see Lucy's fan service shower, it says 5 days since Fairy Tail's revival. However, if the manga panda translation says 5 days till Fairy Tail's revival. Now, that could just be a simple translation error, and I don't know what, manga stream tends to have a better one, so that might be right. But it gets me thinking. Since, and sense, yes, technically, I guess in a emotional sense, it's, and the fact that everyone's gotten back together, then technically, yes, the guild has gotten back together already, and it's revived already. But as Levy points out, they can't just revive Fairy Tail words; they need to make everything official and legal. So since she's currently filling out the paperwork now, that means that the paperwork hasn't been sent in yet, so they are technically not legally revived. And that means, in a legal sense, Fairy Tail isn't revived. So that means that Urza, and since they're going to run off now to go save Makarov, that there's a chance that by the end of this arc, an actual 7th Guildmaster might be chosen. Like, say, for instance, Loxus. Or Urza might end up accepting the role as the 7th Guildmaster. Who knows? But the point is that they made a hate decision they made in this chapter decision to make Urza the 7th Guildmaster, but with Mest's appearance, they're immediately going to go into an arc of, I guess, Makarov rescue arc. If you want to call, that's what the mock title I'm going to be giving it is the Makarov rescue arc. It's about to begin, so it's definitely going to. This is exactly why I feel like there's, in the way they put this chapter about, someone who can keep the members of the guild under control. Urza does make sense, but I still, Loxus is more, in the rest of the sense, I think is more qualified, and he was always being groomed by Makarov to be the next guild master. So it's very intriguing, and it was, if I remember correctly, I believe at one point it was even stated that Makarov would have picked either Urza or Laxus, but that Urza at the time was too young, and even though technically since that was said, she's technically, it's been 8 years since that was said, she's only aged a year. So whatever, that's besides the point. Laxus unfortunately has been screwed the entire series. In the beginning of the series, he was, pretty much a jackass, and then afterwards, he finally, by the end of the Fairy Tail Battle of Fairy Tail arc, he got the a huge amount of character development, and was, but he was he was kicked out of the guild, excommunicated and whatnot, and basically went on a journey of self-discovery, which allowed him to get even greater character development. But ever since he returned into the series, he's been nothing but screwed over. I mean, yeah, he showed up, helped save Fairy Tail at Tartarus during the not Tartarus, Tenro Island arc. Then immediately, went into that whole cryostasis they were in for 7 years, and then they went to the so then when they came out of it, they went into immediately started the whole thing with, oh well, we have to revive to get the guild back to #1 again. So they had the Grand Magic Games arc, the whole Dragon King arc, and then soon after that they had the short Sun Village arc, which didn't involve Loxus, and then they had the Tartarus arc, which at the beginning Loxus got his he sacrificed himself to help people out, to prevent people from dying, or at least try to decrease the number or whatnot. So he was pretty much taken out for the rest of the Tartarus arc, and we haven't seen him post time skip yet. So it's like kind of unfair to judge his qualifications and say that Urza's better because Urza has had more interaction with the guild over the course of the series than Loxus has, which is unfair. But overall, I think this chapter, just based on the fact that everything we've learned is amazing, and so this chapter I thought was very good, and I'm excited for next week's chapter.
Hey everybody, what's up? It is time for Fairy Tail. This would be chapter 438, the 7th Guildmaster. Now this chapter, I did like it, but I do not like sort of the conclusion where Erza is now the 7th Master. I mean, it does make sense, of course, as a temporary master until they can get either Makarov back or get freaking Laxus as the next master, because we all know Laxus is really the guy who's supposed to be the next master. And the two of us, we thought that he would end up showing up in this chapter and becoming the next master right there and then. But unfortunately, it looks like there's going to be an arc that is, or maybe a mini arc that's devoted to saving Makarov. And I'm sure Laxus will come in the process. Like, he's probably trying right now, but they're gonna have to like meet him halfway or something. Who knows? But as far as Erza being the guildmaster, I mean it makes sense, but I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, she just puts her foot down and everyone's like, "Yes, ma'am." So it does make sense. She keeps everybody in line. Uh, you know, but we know like Natsu could not be the guildmaster right now. He simply can't. He doesn't have the temperament for it. Uh, Gray and Gray could, but he's just not. He doesn't have the authority that Erza does. And um, let's see. I mean, there's not many more people in that's right there besides Mira Jane, who also has let her temperament get the better of her with not being Guildmaster potential. Um, so, I mean, the answer was obvious, as Levy said, for now. So, I guess let's talk a little bit about the other shit. Like, of course, we had Natsu seeing Lucy naked for like the fifth time in the series. Um, it's funny because he stares right at her vag and just looks at her like, what the fuck? I don't know. Like the eyes is just really funny. I don't know, but the novelty of it has kind of worn off. Like it was funny the first time, but it's really not that funny anymore. It's fine, whatever. But the whole rumors thing with Gray was great because they're like, I heard they have kids, and then that he has Lucy as a side bitch, but he's keeping all of this a secret from Erza, so it's like his lover is Erza, but he has a child with Juvia, but has a side bitch with Lucy, which it's funny because those are the three primary pairings that Gray has been involved with, besides like Ultier, which is okay, but you know, Ultier was the other one, but uh, I just thought that was funny. So, and honestly, I actually support Gray X Lucy or Gray X Erza more than Gruvia. I said this before. All right, you guys get the point. But um, the rumor thing was funny because she's like, "Why are you letting your imaginations run wild?" It's like, besides, we just crashed in the same place. Thank you, Gray. Good guy Gray is taking shots at Gruvia as we speak. He's this is why he's the best character. No, it's not why he's the best character, but certainly doesn't hurt. Uh, there's not much else. I mean, Mest comes in, who we thought his name was Doran or Doran whatever, and I'm assuming his real name is actually Mest. So basically, if you guys aren't up to date on Mest, he came in secretly as a spy for the Magic Council under the guise of Mest as a fairy tale member when he was supposedly Doran the Magic Council member. But really, he was spying while he was spying, while his name was Doran while his name was Mest. So I think the Yo Dog meme works here just perfectly. Yo Dog, I heard you like spying, so we had you spy while you spy, and have your name Doran while your name is Mest. I don't know, but I just thought it was funny. I thought maybe his real name would be Doran but actually I think it really is Mest. Um, but anyway, is there much else to talk about? No, not really. Yeah, not really. I mean, they're trying to rebuild the guild, etc. The chapter overall, I liked it, mostly because of just some of the funnier quirks, like Gray and his rumors were too funny, and everything else, and the fact that now we're leading into an apparent um, like arc or mini arc, depending on how fast Natsu and Erza steamroll over their opponents uh, to save Makarov and find Laxus somewhere over the rainbow. That's it. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next week.